Emma James with Media Watch, good evening to you.
Hi there.
Starting with reactions to the announcement that Simone Veil will become the 5th woman to be laid to rest at the Pantheon.
Yes, and this is one that a lot of people really felt should be awarded, one of France's highest honours, and a place in the prestigious mausoleum. Lots of people campaigning for it to happen. The cartoonist Plantu came up with this image where he's really portrayed Simone Veil as the very embodiment, the essence, if you like, of the Pantheon, with her hairstyle in the same style there. That was actually created on Monday when people first started talking about this is where she should be laid to rest. 2 petitions were put online on the change.org website. More than 350,000 people signed those 2 petitions. And as you can see on the right-hand side there, it now says victory confirmed, because they have achieved their objective. There is one irony, though. Pierre Briançon pointing this out on Twitter. French political great and women's rights pioneer Simone Veil will rest in the Pantheon under the big epigraph, of course, etched in the stonemasonry, to great men, a thankful country. Now, while Simone Veil didn't try to portray herself as a feminist and didn't really particularly like the term, I think it's undoubted that most people do actually view her within that category. So it is a little bit unfortunate, but who knows whether that will ever change.
Change comes little by little. There does continue to be some controversy over Simone Veil's legacy, doesn't there, here in France, because of her key role in changing the law to legalise abortion.
Yes, very much so. And of course, it is a predominantly Catholic country here in France, so that it perhaps explains a little bit about why she is still a divisive figure, despite the fact that she is so beloved by so many. This image actually began spreading online earlier today. Shared some 50,000 times, according to its creator, but it's not a tribute. This is actually created by an anti-abortion protest group, Les Survivants, or the Survivors, and they have chosen today to push their message, as they would put it, or to insult her memory, as others might say, depending very much on your point of view. What they've created is a website, and the website address, and this is what's really caused a lot of fuss, is simonveil.com. They have actually used her actual name. Now, when we look at the website, the biography actually seems quite complimentary. They talk about the fact that she is one of the favourite people of the French, that she is an icon of women's empowerment. However, they invite readers to discover the truth, and they talk about the fact that she wanted abortion legalised but not promoted, and they say that her desires have been betrayed. When you look elsewhere on the website, they talk about the number of abortions that happen in France every year. They also go into detail about how many they claim, the percentage of women that then suffer from depression afterwards. Now, a lot of people certainly not happy at all with the way in which this has been done.
And they're doing this with her name on that website.
With her name. Now, Le Parisien is among those reporting on this one. And there was a lot of planning that went into this. The site name was actually bought back in September last year, but the website itself didn't go live until it was less than 2 hours after Emmanuel Macron made the announcement that she would be interred in the Pantheon. So they did it to coincide with that. And unsurprisingly, people have reacted with horror, many of them. This person tweeting that it is shameful, even more so on this day of tribute, to use the memory of Simone Veil for their pro-life propaganda. So is it legal? That's the other question that a lot of people are asking. According to 20 Minutes, who've spoken to a legal expert, no is the answer. It is not legal. It violates the right to privacy, even though it is talking about a person who is deceased. The family can also complain about the reproduction of the image after her death. So it is seen very much as legally speaking, it could be seen as an attack on her memory. So we will wait to see whether that gets taken down. But apparently the Facebook pages will be much harder to deal with than the actual website itself.
Let's hope Facebook can react and do something about that, because it does seem to be a very shameful thing that they've done. Finally, the honeymoon period for one Emmanuel Macron perhaps appears to be reaching, well, a bit of a crossroads, perhaps. Some mixed messages coming out right now.
Yes, of course, it was a big week for Emmanuel Macron, giving that keynote speech in Versailles on Monday, laying out his plan for his 5 years in office. But according to a new survey, not all that many people were impressed by it. According to this survey, 1 in 4 were convinced by his address. 26% were not, 32% undecided, 42% said they were not convinced by what he had to say. So not great figures there for the French president. However, something that has been greeted with a great deal of praise online was his appearance on a submarine where he was actually brought in Bond style.
So that is Emmanuel Macron.
That, unbelievably enough, is the president of France being brought in to visit submariners on Le Terrible. And people have reacted really with great delight. How hardcore is this Macron dude, asks this gentleman, getting dropped from a chopper onto a sub. This is firmly in James Bond territory. This Twitter user saying, coming soon, President drops in on International Space Station, snaps selfie. We'll have to wait and see whether he goes for that one or not. This gentleman from the United States seems to be a little envious of President Handsome, because, of course, he has President Trump. He says, President Handsome over there, ruining presidenting for the rest of us. Now, there were lots of other images from inside too. This one very much a hunt for Red October, I think. And you can see he's actually got Le Terrible on the badge on his arm there, looking very much part of the team. This tweet, I think, has to be read out in one of those movie trailer voices. With humankind on the brink of extinction, French President Macron delivers one of the best inspirational speeches in history. Others likening him to perhaps looking like a DJ. But this, I think, is my favourite tweet of all on the subject. This person, rather unkindly, you might say, likening him to Boris Johnson. Macron arriving on submarine. We can beat that, Monsieur Président. Clearly, this is a British person speaking, because the man hanging from the zip wire looking extremely uncomfortable is, of course, the UK's Foreign Secretary, Boris Johnson. Quite a contrasting image there, I think.
Tongue firmly in cheek, one suspects.
Very much so.
Because Boris Johnson got stuck and looked a right Burke, didn't he?
Absolutely.
And Macron looking, oh, I was going to say, I quite fancy doing that. It's great fun, doesn't it? You know.
Can I watch?
Every time. Emma James with Media Watch, thank you very much indeed. Great to see you. Thank you to Kate for the business. Great to see you too. And please stay with us. More to come here live from Paris.